Breaking: Tinubu led Nigerian government to make public Samoa agreement over LGBT concerns. Hello viewers and welcome to InfoGist TV. He stated this at a press briefing on Saturday in the nation's capital, Abuja, clarifying once again that none of the articles of the agreement between Nigeria and the European Union show that the former had recognized LGBT rights. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagadu, on Saturday said the Nigerian government will make public the controversial Samoa agreement, which it signed in order to clear the air on the allegation of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender clauses. He stated this at a press briefing on Saturday in the nation's capital, Abuja, clarifying once again that none of the articles of the agreement between Nigeria and the European Union show that the former had recognized LGBT rights. Controversy has enveloped the Samoa agreement signed by the federal government, with many frowning upon what they thought was the recognition of LGBT rights by the Nigerian government. The Samoa deal sparked a barrage of reactions online, with many opposing LGBT rights, which is contrary to the anti-same-sex marriage and gay relationship law enacted in 2014 by the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. According to Channels TV at the press conference on Saturday, Bagadu, alongside his counterpart in the Ministry of Information, Mohammed Idris, said Nigeria would not enter into any agreement that was antithetical to the constitution as well as the religious and cultural sensibilities of the heterogeneous people of Nigeria. The Economic Planning Minister explained that about 200 areas of cooperations were contained in the agreement signed by the Nigerian government, and that aside from the agreement, an implementation agreement would be signed in each of the areas of cooperation. He said the areas of cooperation would lead to capital and technical support. When asked why the federal government signed the Samoa agreement, Bagadu told newsmen that the agreement was for multi-sectoral development. He said, "When you get a copy of the agreement, you will see that this is a broad agreement. It is about education, it is about security, it is about water and sanitation, it is about decent work, it is about demography, it is about youth, it is about culture and sustainable development, it is about inclusive economic development, it is about private sector development, it is about human rights, it is about democracy and rule of law, it is about good governance, public administration, personal data, peace and security. Each article is about an area of cooperation. We signed an agreement with the European Union to say that we believe we can cooperate in these areas, in the several areas which are about almost 200 distinct areas." Bagadu said about $600 million worth of projects are coming under the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program of the federal government. The minister further said that there was nowhere in the body of the document where you see $150 billion, but these are agreements which I believe, like with other countries, define what we want to relate with those countries in and how we want to go about it. Bagadu said the agreement provides a proviso where each country, not just Nigeria, can issue a declaration clarifying some basics in which it is signed. "We will make the declaration available. It is a public document presented alongside the agreement. We didn't offer it because of concerns about misrepresentation about LGBT, which are the lesbian, gays and other rights." Now, last November, the European Union, its 27 member states and 79 member states of the Organization of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific States, OACPS, signed an agreement in Apia, the capital of Pacific island country of Samoa. Hence, it was referred to as the Samoa Agreement. With the new agreement which succeeded the Cotonou Agreement, the parties are expected to be better equipped to address emerging needs and global challenges such as climate change, ocean governance, migration, health, peace and security. Nigeria signed the agreement on June 28, 2024, but it became public knowledge this week after a disclosure by Bagodu at a meeting with European representatives. Now, this has sparked lots of reaction on social media. Vincent Stephen commented, "Like this now, Bobrisky will be laughing at us in prison and we still come out and work in peace." Valid Momodu also commented, "The document should be public." Others also commented, "What is certain is that the European Union cannot give us free 150 billion European currency without asking something in return." We should recall that Western countries piled pressure on the federal government following President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's signing of the Same-Sex Prohibition Act 2014. Recall that Western countries piled pressure on the federal government following President Goodluck Jonathan's signing of Same-Sex Prohibition Act 2014. The latest country is the United States of America, whose ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. James Entwistle, threatened that the United States will scale down its support for HIV and AIDS and anti-malaria programs in response to the federal government's position on the gay rights issue. Member countries of the European Union and Canada have expressed their objections to the law, but United States ambassador to Nigeria said he was worried about the implications of the anti-same-sex marriage law, which seems to restrict the fundamental rights of a section of Nigerian population. This came as a former Nigerian ambassador to the United States, Dahiru Suleiman, described homosexuality and lesbianism as animalistic and degrading the humanity. Also, Christians in the north part of Nigeria, under the edges of Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states, Abuja, hailed President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for signing into law the anti-gay bill, urging him to ignore criticisms from Western nations, saying all religions in the country are united in their condemnation of same-sex marriage. In a reaction to the recent move of government to outlaw homosexuality from this country, the Public Relations Officer of Northern Kan, Elder Sunday Obe, told reporters that Christians from the north and their counterparts in other religions have unanimously expressed gratitude to the President and the National Assembly for passing the anti-same-sex marriage despite oppositions from Europe and the United States. Speaking to newsmen in Abuja, the American envoy said his interpretations of the new law was that it could negatively affect the nation's fight against the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Although the United States envoy denied that his country plans to impose sanctions on Nigeria, he said, "We and other donors are looking at the issues of funding for HIV and AIDS. As you know, we put millions of dollars in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Although I am not a lawyer, I read the bills and it seems to me that it may put some restrictions on what we can do to help fight HIV and AIDS in this country. These are the issues we are looking at as we consider the law." The signing of the Same-Sex Prohibition Act by President Jonathan on January 7, 2014 has provoked negative reactions from member countries of the European Union, Canada, and now the United States, all of whom have alleged that the law is a violation of the fundamental human rights of Nigerians with same-sex orientation. Ambassador Entwistle said he was aware that the issue of same-sex marriage was very controversial all over the world, including within the United States, where 17 states out of 50 had endorsed it, but others still reject its legality. According to him, the issue that we see, and I am speaking as a friend of Nigeria, is that as I read the bill, it looks to me that it puts significant restrictions on the freedoms of assembly and expressions. In my opinion, which applies especially in advanced democracies. Once government begins to say something in these areas, freedom no longer applies. It seems to me that this is a very worrisome precedent. Anti-gay diplomacy, a lecturer at Covenant University, Professor Kayode Soremekon, said what is happening demonstrates the low level that the United States treats its relation with Nigeria. He said every Nigerian should feel insulted that the United States is threatening to stop assisting us on areas where we have the resources and human capacity to contend. Professor Sorumekun even stated that when the West had their misgivings about Russia's anti-gay law, they have not gone threatening them with sanctions and punitive actions. We are not reckoned within the international area where we are getting assistance for HIV and AIDS malaria treatment drugs, polio virus crusades, among other mundane issues. He continued that Nigeria is still a conservative society and the anti-gay law has united the ruling class and Nigerians outside government at this level of our national development. The United States and East European Union partners should be discussing serious issues. The leadership showed proactiveness in trying to save the society from getting exposed to practices that are antithetical to our culture. We should be focusing on the items of the binational commission between both countries. But these threats shows that we are non-entities in global area and arena. When the United States is discussing with Iran on nuclear issues, they are threatening us on mundane issues. According to Sorumekun, we should be able to make the United States and the European Union allies realize that they cannot go to China to dictate their laws. China is still a communist country and they are falling over themselves to go to China and do business. We should make them realize what General Abacha did when he opened the door to China and Asian countries in the 1990s. Propaganda war it was learned that the United States committing substantial resources to fund the emergence of gay clubs and advocacy groups across Nigeria.